Emma, in her late 20s, approaches the house, her heart pounding in her chest. She stops just before the entrance, her eyes scanning the decaying structure, her breath visible in the cold air. She wraps her coat tighter around her, her hands shaking slightly. Emma, to herself, forcing a laugh. I can't believe I'm doing this. Everyone says this house is haunted, but I've got to know the truth. They all say it's just a story, but what if it's real? She takes another deep breath, steadying her nerves. Her hand reaches into her pocket, pulls out a small flashlight, and clicks it on. It flickers briefly before settling into a dim, wavering beam. With one last look at the house, she steps forward. Her footsteps crunch on the gravel and dirt as she approaches the doorway, her flashlight darting nervously over the surroundings. The door creaks again in the wind, its rusted hinges groaning in protest as she touches the frame. Emma, softly, almost to herself. Just a house. Just a house. Nothing to be afraid of. It's all just stories. Ghosts aren't real. She takes a hesitant step inside, her boots pressing softly against the warped wood of the threshold. The camera follows her movement into the darkness of the house. The door behind her creaks shut with an ominous thud, the wind cutting off suddenly as if it too were waiting for something to happen. Inside, the air is cold and musty. Dust clings to everything. The floor, the walls, the forgotten furniture covered with moth-eaten sheets. The remnants of a once lively home, now reduced to a crumbling shell. Broken glass crunches underfoot as Emma steps further in, her flashlight revealing glimpses of what once might have been an elegant sitting room. An old armchair, a fireplace covered in soot, cracked walls adorned with faded wallpaper. The silence inside is suffocating. The kind of silence that makes the mind conjure the faintest of sounds, whispers, creaks, rustlings. But when she pauses to listen, there's nothing but the hollow echo of her own breath. Emma, nervously, glancing around. Okay, this is fine. Just look around. Get the pictures. That's all. No big deal. She steps forward into the room, her flashlight beam flickering slightly as she moves. Cobwebs line the corners of the walls, the strands shimmering in the pale light. The smell of damp wood and mildew fills the air. Her eyes dart around the room, but nothing moves. Nothing stirs. Just the shadows growing longer with every step she takes. As she moves deeper into the room, she glances over her shoulder, half expecting to see something or someone behind her. But there's nothing, just the dim light of her flashlight bouncing off the walls. She swallows, her throat dry, and her heartbeat speeds up. The hairs on the back of her neck stand on end, as if the house itself is aware of her presence. Emma, murmuring to herself, "You're fine. You're fine. Just a house. Just a house." The floor creaks beneath her, the wood groaning under her weight. The wind outside picks up again, rattling the house's cracked windows, making the dust dance in the faint light of flashlight. She takes another step forward, her breath catching in her throat as she notices the stairs leading up to the second floor, the darkened silhouette of a hallway beyond. The air here feels heavier, colder, and she can't shake the feeling that she's not alone. She pauses for a moment, her mind racing. Emma, to herself, tries to shake off the dread. It's just my imagination. The wind, the storm. Nothing more. You're here for a reason. You've got this. But even as she says it, the unease settles deeper in her chest, like a weight pressing on her ribs. The air seems to grow thicker, heavier, like the house is breathing with her. The house creaks again, but this time it's not the wind. It's something else. Something alive. Or something that once was. Emma, sighing, trying to push the thought away. Stop it. It's just an old house. Let's just take a look around and leave. She moves to the center of the room, her flashlight swinging slowly from side to side. The beam catches on something, a picture frame half buried under a pile of broken furniture. She kneels down and dusts it off, revealing a faded black and white photo of a family. The people in the picture look happy, smiling, gathered around the fireplace. But there's something unsettling about their faces. Their eyes seem too dark, too intense. Emma, frowning, holding the picture closer. Who are these people? She turns the picture over and sees an old inscription on the back, faded with time but still legible. Emma, reading aloud, almost in a whisper. The Devlin family. Always together. Always happy. Her voice falters as she notices a date, 1904. A cold shiver runs through her as the eerie feeling deepens. She sets the picture down, her pulse quickening. She stands up quickly, turning toward the darkened hallway that leads further into the house. Suddenly, the house seems to groan and shift as though settling into a deeper, more ominous silence. Emma, whispering to herself, maybe I should just go. Maybe it's not worth it. Just leave. But her feet are already moving toward the stairs, her mind unwilling to back down now. She's come this far. The rest of the house beckons, as if daring her to uncover its secrets. The shadows stretch longer in the flickering flashlight beam, and she steps toward the staircase with a sense of both dread and curiosity. The storm outside rages on, and with each flash of lightning, the house feels more alive, more present, more watching. Emma hesitates at the base of the staircase, gripping her flashlight tightly. The air feels thick, heavy with something unspoken. She swallows hard, her breath coming out in shallow gasps. The storm outside feels distant now, muffled by the thick, suffocating darkness of the house. She glances down the hallway to her right. The wallpaper is peeling, revealing rottenwood beneath. A single, dust-covered mirror hangs crookedly on the wall. Her flashlight beam catches her reflection for a moment, except her reflection seems delayed, as if reacting just a second too late. Emma freezes. Her pulse quickens. Did she imagine it? She takes a slow, deliberate step closer to the mirror. Her own wide-eyed face stares back at her, slightly distorted in the grime-covered glass. She lifts a shaky hand to wipe away some of the dust. But just as her fingers touch the surface, a faint whisper, a single, unintelligible word, soft, almost like a breath against her ear. Emma spins around, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness behind her. Nothing. No one. The house is still, but that silence now feels wrong. Too deep, too present, as if something unseen is pressing down on her. Emma, muttering, trying to reassure herself. Old houses creak. Wind finds its way inside. That's all this is. Her voice sounds small, fragile in the vast emptiness of the house. A sudden noise breaks the silence. Thump. A deep, heavy sound from upstairs. A footstep. A door closing. Emma jerks her head upward, her breath catching in her throat. Her flashlight flickers, and for a split second, she thinks she sees a shadow move at the top of the staircase. Emma, whispering to herself, No, 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 it's just the house settling. Just the wind. That's all. But her body betrays her words. Her hands are trembling. Her heart pounds so loudly she can hear in her ears. Her instincts scream at her to leave, to run. But something about this place won't let her go. Some unseen force seems to pull her forward. She inches toward the staircase. The wooden steps groan under her weight as she carefully places one foot, then another, testing each step as if the house itself might reject her presence. She reaches a halfway point, pauses to shine her flashlight down the hallway at the top of the stairs. The beam of light lands on an open doorway. A bedroom? The door sways slightly as if it has just been touched. A long, slow creak echoes to the house as the door drifts open further, revealing a pitch-black room beyond. Emma's throat tightens. Her mind tells her to turn around, walk away. But something inside her, a force she can't explain, urges her to move forward. She reaches the top step, and then, bang! The door to the bedroom slams shut with violent force, shaking the walls. Emma yelps, stumbling backward against a railing, her flashlight slipping from her grip. It tumbles down the stairs, landing with a clatter on the floor below. The beam flickers wildly, casting erratic shadows along the walls. Emma, panting, whispering, No, 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 this is not happening. This is not happening. She forces herself to move, her trembling hands gripping the stair railing as she crouches to retrieve her phone from her pocket. Her fingers are slick with sweat as she fumbles to turn on the flashlight feature. The screen illuminates her face in a soft glow, but in the reflection of the phone's screen, she sees it, a figure standing at the end of the hallway, still, silent, watching. Emma's breath stops. Her fingers freeze over the phone screen. The figure is shadowed, its features obscured by the darkness, but there is no doubt someone, something, is there. Emma doesn't blink. She doesn't move. She barely breathes. A cold dread floods her veins, and an overwhelming, paralyzing sense of wrongness fills the air around her. Then, the figure moves. A slow, deliberate step forward. No sound, no breath, just the feeling of something coming closer. Emma gasps, stumbling backward down the stairs, her phone slipping from her grasp. It clatters to the floor below, leaving her in near-complete darkness. The only light now is from her fallen flashlight, its flickering beam casting jagged, shifting shadows along the walls. A whisper drifts through the air, so close it could be inside her own head. "You're not supposed to be here.